Disney World has gotten rid of Genie Plus. Yep, really. There is an all-new Skip the Line service coming to Disney World, and this is the only video you need to watch to understand all of it. And we're gonna cover everything in just 15 minutes. Now, Disney Genie Plus is still around until July 23rd, 2024. The current service provides folks with access to lightning lanes to skip the standby lines for select attractions for a fee. Major staples of this service is that all of your lightning lane bookings are done day of with a rather aggressive 7 a.m. start time for the booking. That all changes on July 24th. Whoa. That day, Disney Genie Plus will become Lightning Lane Multipass. And individual lightning lanes will become Lightning Lane Single Pass. The switch up also means you'll be booking your lightning lanes in advance. You'll be able to choose your times and attractions before booking so that you know what you're getting. And you'll be able to book lightning lanes for multiple days all in one sitting. So yeah, some pretty big changes are happening. Some of the biggest criticisms of Genie Plus have been the need to be up at 7 a.m. on your park day to get those high demand lightning lanes. Plus the fact that you have to purchase before you can guarantee that you're going to get what you want. This can make the service feel a little bit like a gamble. This shift adds a little bit more flexibility to the Skip the Line offering in Disney World. For longtime Disney goers, it might remind you a little bit of Fast Pass Plus, but unlike Fast Pass, it still costs money. So those are the basics, but let's talk Lightning Lane Multipass. Now, Lightning Lane Multipass is an optional paid service that acts as the direct replacement for Genie Plus. Genie Plus allowed guests to pay a date-based fee per ticket to book one lightning lane at a time starting at 7 a.m. Once this one lightning lane was used, you could book another, or you could also book another after a 2-hour cooldown. Lightning Lane Multipass will work similarly, but with some very big changes. When purchasing Lightning Lane Multipass, you will be able to make up to 3 Lightning Lane Multipass selections in a park in advance of your visit. With this, you'll be able to choose your attraction and time as well. So you'll get to keep those 3 lightning lanes that you made in advance when you purchased. Then once you get to the park and you use the lightning lane, you can book a new one, always keeping that up to 3 lightning lane number pending availability. Obviously, the booking in advance thing is a huge shift from Genie Plus, and one that makes it a little bit easier to plan your day ahead of time when you're headed to Disney World. But another shift is the fact that you can hold 3 lightning lanes at once and not even have to worry about any sort of cooldown. With Genie, you would have had to wait 2 hours to hold even 2 at once. That cooldown, no longer a thing. You're always gonna be able to hold those 3 lightning lanes. So, when can you book lightning lanes in advance? It varies. This is where Disney has added a major benefit for Walt Disney World Resort hotel guests. Those staying at a Disney World Resort hotel, Shades of Green, or the Walt Disney World Swan, Dolphin, or Swan Reserve hotels can book their lightning lanes up to 7 days in advance of their check-in date. When they do so, they can make that purchase and book their lightning lane selections for the length of the entire trip up to 14 days. So a pretty major benefit, especially when you consider that folks not staying at hotels do not have the same eligibility window. Those not staying at these hotels can purchase 3 days in advance. For those with date-based tickets, when that 3-day window starts, it starts when your ticket starts and you can book for all of the days of your ticket. But if you do not have a date-based ticket, like if you're an annual pass holder or have another ticket type, you can book 3 days in advance and then we'll have to keep booking 3 days in advance of the next day and the next day of your trip. Regardless of eligibility, everybody has to have valid park admission to be able to purchase and book Lightning Lane Multipass or Lightning Lane Single Pass. Now, this is where things get a little spicy. Obviously, to have the best options available to you, you want to book as early as possible. This gives those hotel guests a bit of a leg up, especially those with longer trips. Oh, and remember when I said that 7 a.m. wake-up call was changing? It's not gone. It's still a 7 a.m. start for that booking window on the day that you can book. So for hotel guests, 7 a.m. 7 days in advance. I'm gonna break it down really easily for you with a graphic. Here's when to book for the best availability. If you're staying at one of the Disney World or select hotels, you can book at 7 a.m. 7 days prior to your check-in date and can book for the whole trip. If you're not staying at a hotel and have a date-based ticket, you can book 3 days prior to the first day of your ticket and can book for every day of your ticket. at 7 a.m. as well. If you're not staying in a hotel and do not have a date-based ticket, you can book 3 days prior to the first day of your trip at 7 a.m. and then you'll need to book day by day, always 3 days prior to your visit. Now, after your eligibility window opens, you can book anytime. So if you miss that 7 a.m., don't worry, you can still book. If you book at 7 and then you want to make some changes, you can modify in that window. Basically, once your window starts, it's free game, but the best options are going to be available the earlier you're able to book. This also means that some experiences may fill up when hotel guests get that earlier window than everybody else. So if you're not a hotel guest, by the time you get to book, you might see that an experience you wanted is no longer available. We're not sure how common this will be until the system launches on July 24th, but the good news is that with the new system, you will confirm those 3 in advance lightning lanes before you purchase. So if availability is looking a little weak, you could skip the spend. Another major change here is that Genie Plus only offered the next available window for booking. With Multipass, you'll be able to select your arrival window. And Disney has even said that the system will recommend arrival times that make sense with the plans that you already have in your My Disney Experience app, including advanced dining reservations. So yes, just like with Genie Plus, purchase and booking will happen through the My Disney Experience app. You want to make sure you have the app and that everyone in your family is all linked together as part of your friends and family there before you start trying to book. But all rides are not made equal with Lightning Lane Multipass. With Genie Plus, all rides kind of worked the same if they were included with Genie Plus. You could just book one after the other, it didn't matter. With Lightning Lane Multipass and that advanced booking, things are a little bit different. There are some higher tier attractions. This is a feature you might remember from FastPass Plus as well. When booking in advance on each park, guests can book up to 1 attraction from the higher tier group. Your other 2 attractions, or all 3, if you skip the higher tier, can come from the rest of the bucket. Now the good news is once you're in the park and have used an advanced lightning lane, that tier system kind of goes out the window. You can book whatever you want as long as it's available. The higher tier limit is really just for the advanced bookings. Another thing to note is that there has not been a change, and with Lightning Lane Multipass, you are still limited to just 1 lightning lane entry per attraction per day. But I'm going to talk you through an example to make this a little easier. So this on the screen is the attraction list for Magic Kingdom. In advance, you can select up to 1 of these attractions. And then you can select the other 2 or 3 if you skip one of these from this list. So let's say we're a hotel guest. We're up at 7 a.m. It's 7 days prior to our trip. We are ready to get booking. We see that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is available for a 9 a.m. window and select it. Then we follow up with Haunted Mansion for 10:30 a.m. and Pirates of the Caribbean for 11 a.m. When we get to the park, we head to use our lightning lane for Tiana's, and then once we're scanned in, we see, hey, there's still some availability for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at 6 p.m. So we go ahead and snag that one too. After scanning into Haunted Mansion, we follow up and book Jungle Cruise for 5:30 p.m. Then when we use Pirates of the Caribbean, we see that availability is getting a little bit low, so we grab the lower demand Barnstormer for 3 p.m. Once we use the next lightning lane, we can book another as long as availability is still there, but we will see how fast availability fills up once the new system launches. Now, very important to note is that when booking in advance, you can only book for 1 park. However, once you are in that park day of and you use a lightning lane, if you have Park Hopper on your ticket, you can book for any park. So in our previous example, if we use Tiana's and we know we want to go to Epcot later, we might go ahead and book Frozen Ever After. Just like with Genie Plus, you will receive digital downloads of your on-attraction ride photos with Disney PhotoPass, as well as access to Disney PhotoPass lenses in the My Disney Experience app. So as you might have noticed from this example, getting up early is very important with Lightning Lane Multipass. The earlier you get up, the better options you're going to have for lightning lanes, which is why hotel guests get such a big leg up and why that 7 a.m. wake up call is still really important. Because not only is it the better lightning lanes that you can book in advance, but the earlier lightning lane times you get, the earlier you can book new lightning lanes on your actual park day. Now let's take a look at the attractions in the other parks. In Epcot, when booking in advance, you can choose up to 1 of these, and then the rest from these. In Hollywood Studios, when booking in advance, you can choose up to 1 of these, and then the rest from these. In Animal Kingdom, there are no higher tier attractions, and instead you can just choose all 3 of your Lightning Lane Multipass experiences in advance from this list. But hey, that list is missing some of the most popular attractions. You're right, let's talk about Lightning Lane Single Pass. With the old system, some of the most popular attractions in Disney World were not included with Genie Plus. Instead, those were offered as individual Lightning Lane experiences for a date-based per attraction fee. It's kind of similar with the new system. A lot of these more popular attractions are not included with Lightning Lane Multipass and instead are offered as per attraction Lightning Lane single passes. You can purchase up to 2 of these per day, and you can purchase them whether or not you buy Lightning Lane Multipass. The single pass attractions include Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run in Magic Kingdom, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios, and Avatar Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom. So it is the same list that you'll recognize from individual Lightning Lane. The booking eligibility window is exactly the same as Multipass, so you can do all of your booking in one sitting. The biggest change here is actually that you can book your single passes and your multi-passes in the same transaction. So when you go into the My Disney Experience app, when your eligibility window opens, you can select multi-pass and single pass, what experiences you would like, pending availability, and then you can check out all of your multi-pass and single passes for the same day, all in one transaction. When you move on to the next day, you'll move on to another transaction. So different days will have to be different payments, but you can do all of this at once, which was not the case with Genie. It was a lot of like Genie Plus buying, single Lightning Lane buy. You had to do a bunch all at once. Speaking of buying, let's talk price. We don't have all of the details on this yet, but prices for Lightning Lane multi-passes are confirmed to vary by date and by theme park. Prices for Lightning Lane single passes will vary by date and attraction. This is exactly how pricing works for Genie Plus as well, so we're expecting a similar pricing structure, but we will know for sure beginning July 24th. Now, AllEars.net, our blog, and all of our social media accounts will have this information for you live on July 24th. So if you need it that day, keep an eye out for that. We will also be doing a full tutorial video with the new service that will come out shortly after. So we'll have all the pricing information there too. Right now, Disney Genie Plus starts at $15 per day per ticket in Disney World, and that can vary by date and by park, and if you want to use it for multi-parks. We've seen it go as high as $39 per ticket per day in Disney World. Over in Disneyland, the current Genie Plus prices start around $30 per day. So maybe pricing will be around the same as the Genie pricing, but we'll find out on July 24th when the pricing becomes available for the first time. Speaking of Disneyland, Disneyland is also getting the name change of the new system, but really their Genie Plus is staying the same. So if you're used to Genie Plus in Disneyland Resort, then it's pretty much working the same. It's just called Lightning Lane Multipass now. Now I want to answer a few frequently asked questions that we're already starting to see about this new service. For one, can you modify? The answer is yes, you absolutely can. Disney has stated that the modifications are subject to availability and there could be price differences if you're looking at modifying the date or park in advance. Another question folks are asking is, what if July 24th is in the middle of our trip? Can we book in advance then? And unfortunately, the answer is no. This new system does roll out on July 24th, so that is the first day that advanced bookings will be available. Another major note about this is that Lightning Lane purchases can only be made in the United States. So if you are traveling internationally into the United States to go to Disney World, you cannot make those purchases until you are in the country. That could mean that you lose out on some of the advantages of that early booking window. Hopefully Disney will make an adjustment to this and international bookings will be allowed, but for now, that is the case. So that is Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass, a little bit of a crash course. We will have a video coming to the channel where we will try to maximize use of the new service to show you exactly how you can do the same thing when you're coming to your Disney trip and maybe want to skip some of those lines. Please, please, please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this new service, and if you want to see it in action, keep an eye on our website and socials on July 24th and for that video right after. I know this change is daunting. I know Genie was confusing and you just got the hang of it, and I feel the same way, but we're gonna get through it together. I want to make sure that you have the best trip possible, so I'm serious. Drop those questions in the comments. I will get as many of them answered as I can, whether in the comments or in that next video. Of course, we will bring you all of the best tips and tricks to be able to use Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass better than anyone else, so subscribe if you want to see those. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like, follow along with our channel for more of that Lightning Lane Multipass coverage, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.